So we have been talking about ratios and rates, and we are kind of wrapping up those conversations and those lessons with something called unit rate. And unit rate, it has to do with rate, and it's basically just the rate of something, the amount of something per one. So the simple way to think about it is how much per one of whatever it is. So if you're thinking about how much you make in a day, you might want to know how much you make in an hour. That would be the unit rate in 1 hour. Instead of all 8 hours, you want to know how much you make in 1 hour. Or if you are thinking about driving, you're going on a road trip and you know you're going to have to travel lots of hours. You're going to drive 12 hours, but you want to know how fast you went in 1 of those hours. So that is the unit rate. And it's the rate, like we talked about, the rate, the amount per one unit. Okay. And the key to this, to find the unit rate, you are going to want to divide. Divide. So now if you have in your head, okay, I'm going to set all these rates up as fractions and then I'm going to divide. That's awesome. The only thing we have to be careful about is what we are dividing. So for example, if it's already set up like this is kind of nice. This says the rate is 100 miles in 2 hours. So that's a rate, right? The person is traveling and the car is traveling 100 miles in 2 hours. But I want to figure out how many, we want to know how many miles in 1 hour because we want the unit rate. It's asking for the unit rate. So all you have to do is treat this like division, which fractions are division. So you could just do 100 divided by 2. So you just do 100 divided by 2. And you get the unit rate of 50. This would be 50 right here. The unit rate is 50 miles in 1 hour. So the unit rate is the 50 miles. Okay, now you are going to use a calculator for this. So I want to show you something really quick that can be really helpful, which is that there's a calculator called the Desmos Scientific Calculator. Scientific calculator. That is a really good calculator to use. I would suggest right here where it says Scientific Calculator Desmos, if you start typing in Desmos Scientific Calculator, it'll come up on Google, and it's a great calculator to use. It's a really great calculator to use. So I was kind of using, like you can use a regular calculator, you can use Desmos. I'll do the next one on Desmos, just so you can see what that looks like. All right. Hopefully it'll show everything on there. So again, type in Desmos Scientific Calculator. It's the calculator that you actually get to use on the state testing. It's the calculator that the 8th grade teachers and 9th grade teachers use. And when you go off to the high school, that's kind of the calculator that they'll use most often. And it's also nice because you can just get it on your Chromebook. Okay, anyway, our next unit rate that we are finding, this is $50 in 2 hours. So somebody made $50 in 2 hours, or something cost $50 for 2 hours. So again, we are going to divide $50 divided by 2 hours. So all you got to do is type in 50. And there's a couple ways you can do divide. You could write it as a fraction divided by 2. And then it shows you your answer on the right side. So our answer is $25. So if we wrote this as like the fraction, kind of like how it was originally written, it would be $25 in 1 hour. But our unit rate is $25. Okay. All right. Moving on. Divide. So this problem says $23.88 for 12 donuts. Okay, I want to know how much per one donut. So again, we're just going to divide. So take a minute to calculate that out. Do $23.88, so 23.88 divided by 12, and see what you get for the unit rate. You might want to pause. So our unit rate is $1.99. $1.99. And remember, divide, divide, divide. Okay. The other way I could have shown division here is instead of writing it as a fraction, I could have hit the division symbol right here, and it turns it into a fraction anyway. But if you would rather hit the division symbol rather than the fraction bar, that's fine too. But it gives us the same answer, $1.99. Okay, next one. This is kind of like a road trip, right? 364 miles. That's pretty far. And that took 7 hours of driving. So we want to know, okay, if 364 miles took 7 hours, we want to know the unit rate. How far did this person or this car or this family get in 1 hour? So again, you're going to divide 364 divided by 7. So this person traveled 52 miles in 1 hour. And so the unit rate, and we could actually write this in miles per hour. That's actually a unit rate that we're familiar with. 52 miles per hour. And that's the common abbreviation for miles per hour, MPH, miles per 1 hour. Okay, so now we're looking at something, this next problem, that doesn't set it up for us, right? These are all set up for us. We can see really clearly what we need to divide. You divide the top by the bottom and then you're done. These next two problems are not quite like that. So this one says, Miss Howard spent $30 on 15 notebooks. What was the price per notebook? Now, if you're kind of like the person that likes to try to do stuff in your head, that's great. You might be able to figure out how much each notebook was in your head. So let's double check that with writing it out and even writing it as a rate and then finding the unit rate. So a lot of times when you're talking about like cost, the cost or price will go on top. So this is $30. And that was for 15 notebooks. So that was $30 per 15. But we don't want $30 per 15. We want something, we don't know what, per one notebook. So we're going to divide. So you might be able to know, you might know how many times 15 goes into 30. If so, awesome. If not, use your calculator. 30 divided by 15. And that gives us 2. So the unit price for each notebook is $2. Each notebook costs $2. Okay. Next one. 3 large pizzas cost $29.59. What is the cost per pizza? So don't be fooled by this. Some people would want to set up their fraction like this because they see the 3 first, so they put it on top, and then they see the number, and then they put it on bottom. That's not correct. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. The reason you don't want to do that is because we want to know the cost per pizza. So the cost goes on top. So the cost is $29.58. And how many pizzas there are is 3 pizzas. So again, you're going to divide this. So I want you to enter this in your calculator really quick. You might be on Desmos. So go ahead and enter that on your calculator. $29.58 divided by 3 because we want to know the cost per one pizza. So 29.58 divided by 3. And it gives us our answer for one pizza. It is $9.86. So our unit rate, our unit price is $9.86. That is the price per one pizza. Right. So this is really helpful when you go to the store and there's two of the same thing, maybe two different brands or two different sizes, and you want to know what's the better deal. You might be going to the store and you might see packages of cookies, right? And one package has 12 cookies for a certain amount and another package has 14 cookies for a certain amount, and you might want to get the better deal. So you could find how much one cookie costs in each of those and see which is the better deal. A lot of times this is the case with ounces of milk or ounces of soda, things like that, or cartons of eggs. You can buy 18 eggs or 12 eggs, and you might not always be able to tell right away which is cheaper. So that is kind of why this is a helpful thing to be able to do. A lot of times on pricing stickers, like at Walmart or Fred Meyer or Safeway, it will tell you on the sticker how much something is per ounce. Or per item, or per cookie, or per banana. And they do that because they know how important it is for people to know these amounts in order to make decisions. It's helpful for you to be able to do this, though, in case those stickers or whatever don't have it labeled per ounce or per item already, so that you can actually do that for yourself when you're buying groceries. Okay, so here's an example of that. What we have here is we have two sodas, and they're different sizes, okay? This is 16 ounces, and this is 20 ounces, okay? Now, if you just look at the prices, you probably would be like, oh, this is cheaper. This is more expensive. Oops, this is wrong. Please. Sorry, guys. This should say 160. Okay, so that is, it might first look like that, but this is different amount. So this costs more money, but it's more soda. So what we want to know is we want to know per ounce, because this is 16 ounces, this is 20 ounces. We want to know per ounce which one is cheaper, which one is the better buy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the unit rate for this soda. We're going to find the cost per ounce on this soda, and we're going to find the cost per ounce on this soda. Okay, and I'm going to set up the fractions because I don't want to confuse myself. So I know I want the cost per ounce, which means the cost has to go on top and the number of ounces has to go on bottom. So cost 144 for this one, per ounce 16 ounces. Okay, I want you to think about what this fraction would look like. What number would go on top? The cost, $1.60, or the number of ounces, 20 ounces? Which one would go on top of the fraction? It would be the same as this. Since it's the cost per ounce, we want the cost on top. So this one would be $1.60 on top. And the number of ounces on bottom, 20 ounces. So now we've got our fractions that we can divide. So I'm going to go ahead, $1.44, $1.44, I want to be really clear, divided by 16. Okay, so per ounce, this soda for 1 ounce is 0.09, which means 9 cents. So this soda is 9 cents per ounce. We want to know how much this one is per 1 ounce. So we're going to divide this one too. So $1.60 divided by 20 ounces. All right, and we got 0.08. So this soda is 8 cents per ounce. The 20-ounce soda is 8 cents per ounce. The 16-ounce soda is 9 cents per ounce. So which of these, decide in your head, which of these two sodas costs less per ounce? If you're looking at the unit price or price per 1 ounce, it would definitely be the 20-ounce soda costs less per ounce because each ounce here only costs 8 cents, whereas each ounce on the 16-ounce soda costs 9 cents. So to answer the question, which soda costs less per ounce? The 20-ounce soda costs less per ounce. And so the better buy, if we're talking about the better buy here, the better buy is definitely the 20-ounce soda because each ounce costs less. Even though you're paying more, you're getting more soda, and that soda costs less per ounce. Okay, so when you're thinking unit rates, think divide, divide, divide. Just make sure you have your fractions set up correctly and you should be good to go.